His brother said some very rude things about me. So my husband punched him. We've unfortunately had 4 miscarriages, and he threw that in my face and said we didn't lose anything. We didn't lose any babies. And when he said that, I thought my husband was really going to murder him.
Woo! What's up? This is John with the Dr. John Delony Show. Ben is behind the board, so I was trying to redline it for him, so he'll have to spend extra time in editing. There you go, Ben. Hey, I'm so glad that you are with us talking about your mental and emotional health and your relationships and whatever you got going on in your life. If you want to be on the show, give me a buzz at 1-844-693-3291, or you can go to johndelony.com/ask, A-S-K. I don't know why I'm singing. I'm just in a good mood today. All right, let's go. Let's just go to the phones. To maybe it's an 8 Mile, Detroit Rock City, and talk to Ray. What's up, Ray?
So my question for you is, how do I go about the holidays when my husband and his brother physically fought over me last holiday?
Like they did a duel? Like for your heart or affection? What happened?
No. So the backstory is this. My husband and I have been together 10 years, married 5. Roughly about 5 or 6 years ago, his brother started to act like I didn't exist in the world. In the beginning, when it happened, I kind of thought, oh, maybe he was having a bad day, but then it continued to happen. And
did something happen to precipitate this, or did he just start ignoring you?
He just started ignoring me. Nothing happened pre this, in the years before this happened. And I would bring it up to my husband as like, hey, did you see that too? And he's not a confrontational person, so sometimes he'd be like, well, he didn't say hi to me either. But it started to get where it was more obvious and obvious. Years would go by, I would say something, and then I got to my threshold and basically like told my husband he needs to say something because it's his brother. And so they did it at Thanksgiving last year. And when my husband confronted him, his brother said some very rude things about me, and so my husband punched him. And then that turned into a verbal argument for about 30 minutes that I too also engaged with because his wife jumped in and started to attack my husband. And I wasn't going to let that happen.
Jerry.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it felt. And then since that, like, we left, his brother said some very mean things about me. He called me a lot of names. We've unfortunately had 4 miscarriages, and he threw that in my face. And said we didn't lose anything. We didn't lose any babies. And when he said that, I thought my husband was really going to murder him.
Yeah, because fair enough, dude.
Went into complete like anger rage, and my husband is a very laid back person. I've never seen him like that ever.
Was it kind of hot?
Yeah, a little bit. I told him afterwards, I was like, geez, it's nice to see the fight in you.
I knew it.
But since then, obviously we left and everybody's emotions were very high. We, a week or 2 later, went back to because this happened at my in-laws' house. We went there and had a conversation with them and apologized to them about like what happened because it's still their home. And, we kind of just told them then, like, we don't want to be around him. We don't want to see him. We don't want to be around their family. And, everybody, meeting my in-laws and my sister-in-law, who was also there, they all wanted to have this big conversation, this big meeting and have a family meeting, but it never happened. And this literally got swept under the rug, and no one since then has brought it up.
Yeah. So this is simple. Your husband calls your brother. Your husband calls his brother.
Okay.
It's 2 grown men. They got into it. And there can be 1,000 different reasons, like different opinions or whatever. He calls his brother and says, are we cool? And are you going to honor and respect my wife or no? And if not, then the family is choosing, and the family chooses to have him over. They're choosing to not have you guys over.
Okay.
It's that simple. I'm not going to go be around a situation that I know is going to provoke violence, and it's not going to do it. When somebody makes a comment like about miscarriage and stuff like that, I've been open about our story too. We've had a number of those too. That is not somebody who's making a comment about miscarriages. That is somebody just grabbing knives and trying to stab you.
Right.
They're trying to hurt you with the deepest possible way. And
Right.
I've got about as much use. I have no interest in being in their presence.
Okay.
And I'm a grown up. And what that means is y'all might have to grieve a picture y'all had of what Thanksgiving was going to look like.
Right.
And that sucks. You and your husband might have a fight. You might have a deep disagreement because he might feel this pull to honor his mom and dad. In his head means going and sucking it up, and he's going to do this.
Yeah. That's kind of like where we're at. We're both on the fence. I mean, we both want to go in the aspect of seeing, his family, meaning his sister and his mom and dad and our daughter and their kids playing. But then we're on the majority of our feelings are we don't want to be around him.
Think of this in a different way. If his parents have not called this to a head and are
Correct.
trying to pretend it never happened or trying to avoid a confrontation, behavior is a language. They are telling you, we'd rather y'all not come this year. Because y'all were very clear about, I'm not going to go in a situation where it's going to be violence. I don't want my daughter seeing me fly off the handle like that. And I don't want my daughter seeing somebody talk to their mom that way.
Right.
Not going to do that.
Right.
And so, mom, dad, if y'all don't want to deal with this in the home, cool. We get the message. Y'all don't want us here, and that's fine. It breaks our heart, makes us sad. We're going to grieve it, all those things. But we get the message. And there is the two male grown-ups acting like two male grown-ups.
Right.
And calling each other on the phone. And if the brother doesn't want to ask, then you got all the answers you want. You got answers that you need. The thing that you guys can turn this and be really mature about it real fast is considering it a won and a loss. That he gets to go, that he wins, and if you don't get to go, y'all lost. And if you start keeping score like that, then it's not going to be about healing a family. It's not going to be about people respecting and treating each other with dignity. It's going to be about winning and losing, and no relationship survives that.
Okay.
And so take the one-loss nonsense off the table. You're just going to get a real clear picture of everybody's revealed character. And fire does that. It reveals.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because it's kind of, that's kind of how I feel. It's kind of like, he thinks he did nothing wrong, so he's going to just go, and we have to sit with this, like, this happened and nothing's been said about it or talked about, and it's still very real for me.
So listen, everybody lost. Nobody won. So if he shows up all like, hell yeah, he shows up to this thing and y'all are gone, everybody lost. He lost. Your parents lost. The cousins lost. Everybody lost.
Mm-hmm.
And if y'all show up and there's no brother and it's like, yeah, he doesn't get to come here anymore because of what he said, everybody lost. So take the one loss off.
Okay.
What I want you and your husband to do is to be real sad about this.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys reverse engineer what's a great Thanksgiving look like. And it might be inviting some people from your office who don't have anywhere to go. It might be what we do in my house. We do it at Easter. It's Easter of randos. We got the wildest eclectic group of people: songwriters, lawn people, bankers, university executives, my tattoo artist and her family. It's just random people. It's so great. Okay. But in a perfect world, our families will all be here. They can't travel this far.
Right.
And so we're sad about that. And then we go do the next right thing.
Now, if we decided as a family to go, how would you say we should approach,
I would not walk into that situation unless your husband has called his brother, and settled it.
And had a conversation.
That is taking a lit match and a can of gasoline to a situation that's stupid. Somebody's going to get shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that conversation's ever going to happen because his brother is not willing to have that.
I know, but I want your husband to be a person of character and integrity, somebody who stands up for his wife, and also somebody who tries to heal important relationships.
Okay.
I want him going to bed at night knowing I made 3 phone calls and he didn't respond.
Okay.
I don't want him going to bed going, well, if I even call, he's not even going to answer it because nobody knows to make that call.
Okay.
But yeah, I would absolutely 1000% you are inviting trouble. And what do you do for a living?
I am a 911 operator.
Okay. I thought they had mentioned something about that. So, 1016s, domestics is where most people die.
Right.
Not doing that. I'm not setting that up.
Right. And that's kind of how I felt. With the way that I was raised and what I saw, I told my husband before we even had our daughter, I never want her to be in that type of environment. And so that means we have to cut people out. We cut people out.
Can I tell you one more weird thing?
Family.
And I'll get some grief about this on the internet. There may come a time when you make peace with him going and you not. And him saying, I want to go see my mom and dad, and I know it's chaotic and wild, and it's not giving in, and it's not but I want to go see my mom and dad. And you go, yeah, absolutely, go see your mom and dad. That's important for you to see them. As bad as they've fumbled this whole situation, and imagine they're broken hearts. They got their two boys in the living room fighting and saying vile, evil things to each other, and being powerless and just overcome. Fine. There may be a season when, not this year, but there may be a season when you say, go see your mom and your dad. I'm not going to go. They've made it clear what they think about me, and that's fine. Go see your mom and your dad. And then when we come home, we'll do X, Y, and Z. I think that's fair, too. If y'all agree on that and y'all want to set that, he may say, no, forget that. I'm not going on anything without you. Great. Y'all get to decide that, but that's for the future. This year, we're going to be sad. Hey, everybody who's struggling to sleep, stop what you're doing. Helix, the makers of the best mattresses in the universe, has extended their Cyber Monday sale, and it's happening right now. I used to hate getting into bed on an uncomfortable mattress, but now sleeping on my Helix mattress has transformed my rest. I'm getting into new levels of deep, refreshing sleep. And I've said this a lot. Everyone in my immediate family sleeps on a Helix mattress now, and my extended family is now getting in on it too. And my family is all different, just like you are all different. And because everyone sleeps in their own unique way, Helix has created different mattress models designed for side sleepers, stomach sleepers, back sleepers, for everyone. And if your spine needs a little extra love, they have mattresses for you too. Helix offers a 100-night trial, and all Helix mattresses come with either a 10 or 15-year warranty. I want you to get online and take the Helix sleep quiz just like I did, and it will help you find the perfect mattress for your sleep preferences in under 2 minutes. And here's the best part. Right now, Helix has extended their Cyber Monday sale through Christmas. That's 20% off all mattress orders plus a free bedding bundle. Go to helixsleep.com/Delony for details and to save 20% off. That's helixsleep.com/Delony. With Helix, better sleep starts right now. I'm a founding member, and I'm the only member, of the Get Off the Internet and Go Outside Club. And yet I, like all of you, find myself at work and in my personal life basically living on the internet these days. As a society, we're creating more and more online accounts all the time, and we're signing up for promos, we're giving away our emails and personal numbers, and buying everything with our phones and our laptops. I get hundreds of emails to my personal account, my business account, and every business wants to survey me and become my friend, and everyone everywhere is trying to sell me all kinds of stuff. It drives me nuts. And with all of our online activity, do we really know where our data is and who has it? Chances are high that data broker websites have your information and they're selling it to scammers, spammers, and other shady people. But when you use DeleteMe, they find and remove your data from hundreds of sites, and they send reports to you throughout the year to show you exactly what they removed and from where. And now I'm getting way fewer of those spammy text and phone calls, which allowed me to let my guard down a little and feel some peace. This holiday season, share the peace by giving a DeleteMe subscription to someone you love and care about. Individual DeleteMe plans start as low as $9 a month. Go to joindeleteme.com/Delony today for 20% off. That's join, JOIN, deleteme.com/Delony. All right, let's go out to Louisville, Kentucky and talk to sweet Alyssa. What's up, Alyssa?
My question is, how can I process my feelings about my partner's reaction after one particular significant life event?
Wow, I can't wait to hear this one. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, so we live nearby. We traveled nearby to a festival, and this happened about a month ago. And there was a shooting, unfortunately.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
I think it's important to note, too, we had a couple of our best friends from Illinois down, and they have 2 kids. So the shooting was particularly sensitive because, of course, we're worried about our own lives, but the lives of the children, because they definitely don't deserve it, right? So after the event, during the shooting, our reaction, everyone's reaction, except for his reaction, was to run in the opposite direction, very similar to how everyone else appeared to react as well. When we got to a place of kind of calming down, we're no longer running, we're at a place where we feel like we're removed from the shooting or the shooter. He casually walks up to us and has a little bit of a grin on his face. And he was really calm about the situation, which made me very uncomfortable, made me upset. And it was not, he felt as if it was a joke, like it was some kids goofing off and just trying to cause a scene. Whereas our reaction is, if it's a joke or not, let's get out of here. And that is what it seemed to be everyone's reaction. Yeah. So I tried to reason with him, and I can't tell if I'm being unreasonable or if my gut feeling about this whole situation is accurate.
Yeah. I don't think it's an either-or situation. I have been in enough wild situations that I have just made peace. I don't judge people's initial reactions to terrible events. Everybody reacts differently. And I have acted very foolishly running into situations that I had no business doing that. And that's just, and it makes for good theater. It is terrible in real life. And I have seen people think the whole thing's a joke and start laughing. I've seen people curl up in a ball and start screaming. I've seen everybody run. I've seen people all of a sudden grab a stapler and a brick and run. I mean, everybody does something different. And so I don't judge anybody's instant reaction. The only people's instant reaction I judged are those who have trained and trained and trained for specific events. But when it comes to average people who duck or who run or who laugh, I don't hold judgment there because everybody's body reacts differently in those situations.
Okay.
On the back end, though, y'all are at home. It's 2 weeks later. It's 3 weeks later. If y'all sit down, and did you find out it was a real shooting or not a real shooting?
It was a real shooting.
Okay.
Some folks passed away.
Okay. So have y'all circled back up now that the smoke is cleared and sat down and said, hey, let's talk about that?
Yes, we have.
How is that going?
He still feels the same way that we reacted. He felt like we were dramatic, where we just wanted to treat it the same as 99% of everyone who was running. Treat it seriously, whether or not it's a joke or not in today's world.
Yeah. No, I don't mess around with that at all anymore. Yeah, not even a little bit. Can
I share something else too, Dr. John?
Share anything, of course.
I feel like I have felt in the past that he shows cowardly behavior in some situations, like with his family, like he's non-confrontational. And I think that is also stemming from how I'm feeling about this particular situation. There have been times
you've watched him and be cowardly in day-to-day interactions, and now all of a sudden he's mocking you because of how you protected yourself.
Correct.
Oh gosh, yeah. Are you married to this person?
No, engaged for 5 years. We've been together for 8.
What's the holdup, yo?
We both say, well, we can do it tomorrow if we want to, but I guess neither one of us has made it a priority.
Yeah, I would ask your nervous system about that.
Yeah.
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 Because sometimes our bodies know. Here's the thing. I don't have any use for, I say I always have use for people. I don't have any use for people who belittle other people during scary moments. That's honestly one of the reasons why I hate civilian tape review of situations, people running out of a building or that kind of like, I don't like that because it's just not fair.
Yeah.
And your instinct was right, was to run. His instinct was silly and foolish. It could have got him killed. And instead of acknowledging that, and so for him to not be able to say in a similar fashion, dude, I just thought it was a joke, man. Thank God we're all right. Yeah, y'all got out of there. Good for you. But to turn and mock you guys, it's just very immature.
Yeah, and that's how I felt. Like,
but hold on, Alyssa. He's not just immature about this. He's immature about a lot of stuff, isn't he?
Yes.
Give me an example.
When we go to, or earlier on in our relationship, when we would go to family gatherings, a family member might say something a little bit sideways. And I'm not one to cause a scene. I would never do that. I feel like that doesn't achieve anything. So my reaction is to talk to him after the fact. And he has said everything in order to avoid going to that family member to say, hey, you can't talk to her that way, or you shouldn't say that, or whatever it might be. One thing that he said was, I was drunk, I didn't hear it. Or the next time was, or she didn't mean it that way. Or like, it's at the expense of how I feel.
That's right. It's called gaslighting.
Is how I feel. Yeah.
Your feelings are always wrong. There's always an explanation for your feelings. But when he has feelings, they're right. And if you disagree with him, you're wrong for feeling that his feelings aren't right. It's a very immature way of go through the world. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to consider that this is a very revealing situation, a straw that breaks the camel's back. And I'm not saying your relationship's over, but I'm saying it's time to set some things on the table, because here's what's happening. I can feel it. It's festering inside of you. And you are sweet, Alyssa. You don't want to fight. You like doing the next right thing. I could get married tomorrow if I wanted to. I'm gonna watch the new season of Dexter and just call it and go to the next thing. You can just make your way through the life, but what's happening inside of you is that your inside is starting to catch fire. And before you burn up, because that's what's going to happen, your secrets will kill you, not him. I think there's a truth telling. There is hey, for 5 years we've been engaged. And you don't honor my feelings. You don't honor my fears. When I get scared, you make fun of me. When you get scared, you're like, oh, I was drunk. I didn't even pay attention. There's just a general sense of immaturity, or a general sense of his world is all about him and feeling powerful and strong. And if he can't feel powerful and strong, he dismisses you. And that's just not a partnership. That's not a two people creating something amazing together moving forward. And anytime somebody tells me like, oh, we've been engaged for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, we just haven't got around to it, there's almost always a reason we haven't got around to it. There's not a reason we've done it. There's a reason we haven't done it. And I think that's worth exploring. In your own heart, maybe go sit with a therapist and talk about it, or sit down with him and say, hey, we need to just talk. You thought it was a joke and you were just walking around thinking kids were goofing off. Fine. I'm not going to judge you on that. But people got killed. It was scary. It scared me to death. And the fact that you care less about how scared your fiance was and more about mocking me and being like, oh my gosh, that wasn't even that big. It tells a lot. It tells me a lot about your character. And I think that's what's gnawing at your insides, Alyssa. I may be wrong, but I think that's what's gnawing at your insides. And I think that is worthy of exploring. Okay, it's time to talk about Organifi. Listen, our bodies do a lot for us. Our bodies keep us alive, filters toxins, help us deal with the onslaught of these wild news cycles. Our bodies move us around. Our bodies do everything. And let's be honest, we don't always treat our bodies the best. So I want you to stop for a second and just say thank you to your body. And beyond just saying thank you, we can also show our bodies how much we thank them for changing how we move, how we exercise, how we engage in close relationships, and change how we nourish our bodies with food and food blends. One great way I honor my body is with the products from Organifi. I love Organifi because they're super selective about what goes into their whole food blends. And Organifi helps you thank your body by using ingredients with integrity. Plant-based, certified organic, vegan, dairy-free, soy-free, and glyphosate residue-free. Glyphosate is a pesticide that's gnarly, and your body will thank you for keeping away from it. Listen, it's so easy to get the benefits of Organifi. Just mix with your favorite beverage or water. That's it. Personally, I love the green juice and the red juice in the morning for natural, sustained energy and digestive help. And I still love my Happy Drops every day. And I love the Better Biome gummies for digestion. And I often wind down in the evening with the gold chocolate hot cocoa. So good, and it's naturally calming. Go to Organifi.com/Delony right now to save 20% at checkout with code Delony. That's Organifi.com/Delony and use code Delony for 20% off. All right, let's go out to, sorry, Miss Jackson, Mississippi, and talk to Sean. What's up, Sean?
My father, who I haven't been super close with, is getting on in years. He's run into a lot of health problems. I'd have a lot more sympathy if it wasn't of his own doing. He hasn't taken care of himself from even the time when I was a kid. I can remember maybe 2 times that I saw my father run. But the really hard thing is he's getting on in years, and he's kind of reached out to me and kind of made it known he expects me to take care of him. And I'm still trying to build a life and build a family for myself. But the thing that makes it really hard is that his past. So my father is a convicted pedophile. He's registered sex offender. And I just see me taking care of him in the future, just blowing up this life that I've worked so hard to build. I mean, I've got a girlfriend right now and really happy, and everything looks like it's going to be the best thing in the world. And only 2 people in the world know about this, my 2 best friends that I look at as brothers. And my brother, unfortunately, is in and out of jail, and my mom is currently taking care of his newly born son. So she's wrapped up, and she's doing great. She's really, really great woman, saint, honestly, to deal with my dad for so long. They're divorced now, and she's remarried, but it's just so hard to look at this man and see nothing that I can look up to or nothing I can admire. And I look at my friends' relationships with their fathers and brothers, and I'm so jealous. And I just don't know what my taking care of someone who in society is looked at as the lowest of the low. It's hard for me to imagine. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, one, man, I feel honored that you called in. That was the first time you've said a lot of that out loud, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could hear it. And so whatever you've done today or whatever you'll do tomorrow, this is the bravest thing you've done in a long time, and I'm proud of you, and I'm honored that you called me.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Here's step number 1. You have to decide to stop carrying his shame and his secrets around as though it's your burden. This is killing you. The more you keep this a secret and you tell yourself that this is somehow a reflection of you, it's like you drinking poison and hope he gets sick. The secrets and the shame are killing you. I can hear it on you, man. And you can't buy houses out from under that. You can't out-earn that. You can't out-discipline yourself in the Navy out of that. Do you get what I'm saying? Does that resonate?
Yeah.
You've been carrying this for a long-ass time, haven't you?
I have, and it started when I was younger, protecting it from my friends, and then I would make these good friends, and then one day, hey, Lars, Robbie isn't going to be able to come over anymore, and it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I found out why, and I felt like I worked so hard, and At every step, he's taken away things from me that are out of my control. And the one thing I can control is who I tell.
Yeah. Did your dad hurt your friends too?
I don't think so. I think it's just they found out he was on the registry, and it's like I really want to believe for like everything in my body that it was a one time or whenever that went down before I was born, and it ended there. But his actions, he's like done other weird things. Like when I've had girlfriends, he like stalks their like social media and stuff, and it's just like hard to find anything. Like if I were to have to defend this man in court, I would not have a good case.
Right. And so you can hope and wish this was a one-time thing years ago, but your gut tells you differently.
Yeah.
And I want to challenge a core belief you have in the center of your chest. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. You have more than one thing you can control, which is not telling anybody this. Another thing you can control is letting him carry all of his crap and you stop carrying it. And you can say, my dad was a very sick man, continues to be a sick man. And has never shown retribution, has never gone through the behavioral stuff to get well, to like, we've never talked about it. He's never wept in front of me and talked about what he's taken from our whole family, blowing up the whole world, hurting all these kids. None of that has ever happened. And that is a cornerstone of redemption. And so I'm not going to not do these things because of what society says. I could care less. And you can lie to yourself, brother. You don't not like him because he's overweight and doesn't jog. He grosses you out because he's a person who has chosen disgust as his essence. Fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Very fair.
Own that. Because I'm listening to somebody, and I'm got a picture in my head of a guy who is not going to redeem a family tree, but you have been tilling the soil and you've planted a new one.
That's what I've always wanted.
I know, but that's what you're doing.
My biggest dream since I've been a man is to change my last name.
Then go change it, brother. There's no disgrace in that. And if you've listened to this show for 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, you know I'm all about redemption and I'm all about people freeing themselves from being haunted from their past. I wrote a whole book on it. And how dare you not deal with anything, not confront anything, not say anything, and then call your son who's trying to build a new life that you destroyed and demand he take care of you? No. Somewhere in your guts, brother, you either think you've got a fault here, somewhere in your guts you think you did something wrong, or you think you can fix this. And dude, I want to free you from that. You cannot. You don't have that kind of power. Here's the more damning thing. He could have, and he has chosen not to. And that means he's left one more victim in his wake, and that's you. And for that, dude, that breaks my heart, and I'm sorry. And if you were sitting right here, I'd hug you.
I can't tell you the weight you just lifted off me.
Is that fair?
Yes.
And we're not going to swear at people. We're not going to curse at people. We're going to keep our dignity and our character about us. You're working too hard to change, to plant a new family tree and to tend to this young tree as it's growing. So you're not going to resort to the world and throwing rocks and sticks and grenades at your old man. He's cashed himself out of your life. And for that in and of itself is a tragedy. I wouldn't wish that on any young man in the world to have their father cash them out.
Thank you.
You're going to have a season of being real sad, Sean, okay? Just want to tell you what's coming. You're going to be real sad. But if you will engage in that sadness and not try to flex and work out and discipline and whatever, Xanax it away, you will be free on the other side of this thing. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Tell me what you're feeling.
It's mixed. It's hard because one of the people I trust the most in the world, my friend, he's a similar family situation to me, but just different vices. And I look at him like a brother, and he's someone I look up to. And when I talk to him, he had a very different reaction, but he's a single guy. He's not a father like you. I feel like it's a different perspective. And I think when you're a father, you kind of see the danger more clearly than anything else. And I feel at the same time that you've given me the tools I need to move forward and not feel accountable for my father's sins.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
And can I tell you, if this is lingering around back there, if you brought some friends over and your dad may have hurt one of your friends or you don't know, that's not on you, dude. You're a kid inviting buddies over to play. It's not on you. And if you brought girlfriends to your house and your dad was creepy and you tried to defend him and it's not on you, okay? Be free of that. You're a kid.
I've kept all of the women away from him since I've been a man on purpose. I can see the way he looks at them, and I just know I don't.
You know what I call
I know
that?
Something hasn't changed.
You know what I call that? Wise. I call that an outstanding young man. I call that a great boyfriend. I don't call that a bad son.
Thank you.
Okay? That's what good men do, is they take their girlfriends into a situation, and when they get sick at the way another man is looking at them, they get them out of that situation. Good on you.
Yeah. I don't.
Can I tell you this? I'm not worried about the present, a future danger. I'm not. Dude, you're a 26-year-old. Are you still enlisted?
I'm active duty, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't fight you. You'd knock my head off, right? An out-of-shape old man. Like, I'm not worried about what happens next. The reason I don't want you around this man is he has never had a reckoning with you about what he did to you, to those young kids, to the family, to the ecosystem, to his neighborhood. He's never had a reckoning. And when a dad doesn't atone for his sins with his sons carry them, and it buries them. And I'm sick of it.
That's the thing. He's never been accountable.
He never will be.
He got away with it. My mom stayed with him.
Coward.
He didn't go to jail. The family basically washed it all away for him, and he's never had to deal with the consequences of his actions. And
he has. He has, dude. Not in the ways that society wants him to, but he's dealt with it. You know how I know? He lost his son. And he's too much of a coward to reckon with it. So what does he do? He tries to get you back by dumping a whole dump truck full of responsibilities in your front yard, the yard that you have worked really hard to make, because he gave you nothing. How dare he show up with a dump truck and put all that in your front yard?
Thanks.
Okay?
I've never had this conversation before. I don't know.
Here's the exercise I want you to do.
React, but I'm thankful.
Now, here's the exercise, okay? Listen to the exercise. I've recommended people do this before, and I'm going to probably recommend this 1,000 more times before the show's over. But here's what I want you to do, okay? I want you to go to a Lowe's or Home Depot when you get off shift, and I want you to get a roll of duct tape, and I want you to get 3 cinder blocks, okay?
Okay.
And I want you to tear off a piece of duct tape on each one of those cinder blocks, and I want you to get a Sharpie, and I want you to write on them. Never told me the truth in my house. Hurt and abused children. And you write whatever you know to be true. And I know you're soft pedaling the stories that you grew up with. I know that. And I know that mom got out of there. I know brother has been through some kind of hell too, because he wouldn't be living his life if his nervous system wasn't haywire also, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I want you to write them on that cinder block, and I want you to carry them around your yard. Are you on base or are you off?
I'm off base.
Okay.
I've been in a while.
Okay, I want you to carry them around in your backyard until your arms burn, and I want you to throw it on the ground and say the words out loud, I'm not carrying this anymore, and I want you to tear off that tape and throw it away. And then I want you to pick up the next one and go again. I want there to be a physical memory of, I set this down and I don't carry it anymore. This is my dad's sins. I'm not carrying them because they're not mine. You'll have your own. You'll screw stuff up. You'll have your own stuff to carry, but I'm not carrying that anymore. I'm not carrying his secrets. I'm not carrying his dirtiness. I'm not carrying it.
Okay, I will.
And here's one last thing I want to caution you about, okay?
Yeah.
I think I've told this 1,000 times on the show. I was doing a practicum during my grad school, and I'll just cut to the chase. One of the psychologists I was working with, he gave me a really important piece of wisdom. We looked at a young kid, and I said, hey, this one's going to be all right. And he goes, why do you think that kid's going to be all right? The kid had gone through hell. And I said, well, he's got straight A's. He's doing great. And he looked at me and said, John, straight A's can be a trauma response too. Your need for control and for perfection and for external validation, for medals and for acknowledgments and for a home and then another home, and you're probably saving up to get a down payment to buy another home, that won't fill that gap you have in the center of your chest. Okay?
Yeah.
That will heal from the inside out when you're ready. My promise to you is it can heal. And it will be way harder than running 20 miles, but you can. And you will bring peace to great, great grandkids that you will never meet if you heal that from the inside out.
Thank you, Dr. John.
Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
All right. Brother, you call me anytime. I'm going to send you both my books here just as a gift. I know it's just a small token, but I want you to read through them, okay? And I'll hook you up with them for free. You call me anytime, and I'll walk with you. Nothing breaks my heart more than somebody who hurts kids, followed only by somebody who abandons their kids. And both of this happened to you. I'm sorry. And at the same time, I'm overcome with how proud I am of you and the steps you're taking to plant and tend to a new family tree. Generations from now, kids will bask in the shade of this new family tree because you did this work. You're going to get burned, you're going to have scars, and you will bring peace to future generations. I'm so proud that Thorne Supplements, my favorite supplements on the planet, have continued to partner with me and our show listeners for health, longevity, and just feeling good. Thorne is one of our longest standing partners on this show, and it's because I trust them, I use them, I read their research papers, and I know their products are great and that my fans will love them too. Here's the deal with supplements. There's so much garbage out in the marketplace. Trash, trash, trash. And other than my admitted gummy candy problem, I'm pretty freakish about what I put in my body. And that's why I trust my health and the health of my family with Thorne. Personally, I've been taking Thorne supplements for years and years, way before I was on the internets with these shows. And my wife and kids have been taking them as well. And here's what I take every single day. I take the super EPA fish oil, the methylated B vitamins, creatine, phosphatidylserine, and more. I take Thorne for specific physiologic needs for me to keep my body and mind optimized and for overall longevity and health. And here's the cool thing. We've set up an amazing opportunity for all of the listeners of the Dr. John Delony Show. 25% off everything in the Thorne store, and not just on your first visit, but every time you make a purchase through our page and our account. This isn't a sale that's going to change from week to week. All you do is go online, create an account through my page, and you'll get 25% off from here on out, forever. It's that easy. Go to thorne.com/u/Delony. That's Thorne, THORNE.com/U/Delony for 25% off everything in the store. I trust Thorne, my family trusts Thorne, and you can trust Thorne too. All right, we're back. Kelly, that last call.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy.
Dads, man. I know all the research is focused on moms, but dads, man. Dads are important.
Extremely important.
Man, dads are important.
And I'm glad that most dads aren't like that.
Let's sing a song. You go first.
I don't think anyone needs that.
You are correct. Half of the listeners of this show just clicked off. They're like,
100%.
God.
I would. Yeah.
Whatever. Y'all don't know this. In Kelly's office, she has this immaculate, huge corner office. She has a karaoke machine set up there. And on Thursday and Friday afternoons, her one whole wall is all mirrors, as you can imagine. And she sings karaoke, mostly Nickelback and Creed, and she lets it R.I.P. She lets it rip. She puts on these awkward tight jeans, and she puts her feet up on like a monitor wedge, and she gets it in front of these mirrors. It's not bad.
It's the moves I learned from you watching you in Battle of the Bands.
I do a lot of hip thrusting. I do. I don't mean to. It comes from way deep inside. It's all It's all the 80s metal. It's just kind of in there. But listen, you're not as bad a singer as you think you are. We all hear it all across the second floor, but you let it rip. All right, hey, listen, it's the last day for you 6 people who are still here. Last day of the Atomic Christmas sale. Questions for humans, building a non-anxious life. It's like this is a chance to get your friends great gifts, get your family great gifts that can actually help them in the new year and isn't going to break your bank. So go to RamseySolutions.com/store. Last day of the sale. Make it count. Go be a good gift giver this year. And God help you, dude. If you have someone on your team at work that's got a karaoke machine, just unplug it. Love you guys. Bye. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Peace. Hey, what's up, good folks? Did you know the Dr. John Delony Show is now available on video in the Ramsey Network app? Plus, you can watch episodes a full week early, but only in the app. And that's not all. My docuseries, The United States of Anxiety, is also streaming exclusively in the Ramsey Network app. This series follows real people from my show as they embark on a 90-day journey to transform their lives, and I personally walk alongside them every step of the way. So, if you want to get all of the show stuff early, exclusive, and for free, and check out the docuseries, click the link in the show notes to download the Ramsey Network app today. Okay, now here's a sneak peek of what the United States of Anxiety is all about.
I've lived with crippling anxiety for as long as I can remember.
Paint me a picture of that. We're going to check in with Kelsey 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
I cannot even function because I'm just crying. My mom left us when I was 4. I truly felt like I had no family.
She's experiencing things that really hurt a long time ago. Tell me about this boy.
He triggers me a lot.
Scared of losing Paul, scared of doing the wrong thing, scared of not being enough.
It just feels like it would be exhausting to be Kelsey.
It is.
Whenever somebody's playing whack-a-mole with their anxiety, when it just keeps moving, that tells me the underlying system's not okay.
How do I get my inner child out of this relationship? Because I feel like she's running the show.
One of two people that's supposed to never leave took off.
How is this burden?
Your burden to the one person who should carry it, all of it.
Did you ever tell that little girl that it wasn't her fault?
I don't know what to do.